Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse single pack Red Hood figure. Now Red Hood has already been released in a 2-pack with a new 52 Nightwing, and I was definitely going to get the single release Red Hood to keep my unopened collection as a packaging variant, but I ended up getting 2 of these guys so I could open one. Main reason I wanted to see if there's any differences between the other Red Hood, and it does not appear there is any. So I'm going to figure out something to do to differentiate the 2 Red Hoods. In the meantime, let's check out the packaging. So as you can see, Red Hood in the package, he's got 2 pistols, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Red Hood, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, not much going on at the top. One side, Red Hood for the new 52. Other side, somebody says Red Hood. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits and a barcode in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Red Hood posed up from the comics. And here's a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should track down. So with no further ado, let's open them up. And I did end up getting 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection. And here's the single pack Red Hood figure next to the 2-pack Red Hood figure, both of which are from my unopened collection. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with 2 pistols, a collector's card, and a display stand. But before we look at those accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So upon first glance, he doesn't seem to have any differences with the double pack release with Nightwing, but we will check that out in detail later in this video. Here's Red Hood. This is Jason Todd. This was Batman's second Robin. As a kid, I read Death in the Family, and it was a great story. Really cool they brought him back. I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me a lot. This is him as a Batman ally in his typical biker costume. His helmet looks great. You can see it's painted in that metallic color. It's shiny. Going further down, he's got his leather jacket, collar popped up, sleeves rolled up, the bat symbol on his chest. He is a Batman ally at this point. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, 2 holsters with removable pistols. Thank you, McFarlane. Eat that, Deathstroke. Overall, he looks absolutely fantastic. This guy made my top 10 McFarlane figures in 2020 list. He was number 2. This is a home run. I wouldn't call it classic, but it's his iconic biker look, and that's what I want. 7-inch scale, very detailed, very articulated. Home run, McFarlane. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. It's a black perfect circle, typical McFarlane stand. It says DC at the bottom. It's got 1 peg for the pickles on their feet. It's very thin, very basic. Now let's check out his collector's card. This is Red Hood as he appeared in Deathstroke number 15. One thing kind of interesting, it says it's Red Hood for the new 52, but Deathstroke number 15 is from the Rebirth comics. And it just so happens I have this book right here. Here's that panel at the end of the book where Red Hood appears. Here's a collector's card that came with Red Hood, the single version on the left with the white border, and with the silver border on the right came in the 2-pack with Nightwing. Now let's check out his pistols. They're both completely silver. One cool thing, they have the bat symbol on the barrel there. A little bit of texturing throughout it. The fact that it's completely silver loses some of the good sculpted detail in there. Red Hood's 2 pistols are exactly the same as Flashpoint Batman's 2 pistols. Only differences are the little bat symbol on the barrel and the color. And I will say they are not the same as McFarlane's Fortnite pistols. They may look very similar, but it's a completely different sculpt. Nice job, McFarlane, for not just reusing something laying around like that. Here he is, holding his 2 pistols. They fit in his hands great, and he looks great extending his pistol or holding it up next to his head. And here he is, holstering his 2 pistols. He can even actually reach back and pull his pistol out of his holster. Nice change of pace here. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to top, he's sitting at about 7.1 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate around. You can look up and down about that much. Can tilt his head from side to side. Be great if he's looking down at somebody about to shoot him. Shoulders are ball joints. Think about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. There is a butterfly joint between the shoulder and chest area here, giving it an increased range of motion in the shoulder. You can see the butterfly joint inside of here. Double jointed elbows. They go in about this far, a little bit obstructed from his sleeve here. His wrists, they can rotate around a little bit different than the traditional McFarlane, as the glove kind of goes over the arm. And I think it's hinged, but you don't get much out of that. He's got a ball joint in his torso. At the top, can rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint in his waist, can rotate around, go forward and back, giving him a very wide range of motion. His torso can achieve a lot of cool poses. His legs go out about this far. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. They can rotate pretty nicely here. I did dip in some hot water to straighten out his legs. Helped kind of loosen them up a little bit. They go forward that far, back, not too much. Double jointed knees, go back that far. And his ankle here goes up and down. It can rotate, and it can tilt and rock as well. And then he's got toe articulation. Now let's see if there are any differences at all between the single pack Red Hood and the 2-pack Red Hood. The single pack is on the left here. So both these figures, their helmets are exactly the same shiny paint. Their jackets, the same dark brown color. Everything is identical about these guys. And that is interesting because in the 2-packs they've made so far, Flash at least had a different face and some hands. Then we had Batman and Joker. They both had tightened and muddied up effects. And even the Nightwing is red instead of blue. Red Hood is the only figure so far they have released twice and have absolutely zero differences. Even the accessories are the same. The only difference is the border around the collector's card. And what could they have done differently with ease? Well, they could have made one of the jackets lighter, one of them darker. I thought they could have made one have sleeves that were not rolled up. It just would have required sculpting different forearms. And in the source material, he actually did not have his sleeves rolled up. I was thinking maybe one could be masked, one could be unmasked. That would be great. And maybe one doesn't have the bat symbol on the chest. That would require sculpting a little bit different on the chest. But when Red Hood first appeared as a villain, he didn't have the bat symbol, but pretty much had the same costume. Just a few thoughts they could have made for easy variations. So I had these two McFarlane Red Hoods that looked identical. I thought to myself, well, I could sell one, or I could try to do something to one to make him a little bit different. So I took the extra unmasked Jason Todd head from the Mattel Multiverse Red Hood. This unmasked head still has the red domino mask on, but I thought it would make a great alternate unhelmeted Red Hood. Hopefully this head is not too small for the McFarlane body. So I heated Red Hood's head, popped it off, and now he can have his helmet off, holding the helmet under his arms. I personally think the head looks pretty good. It may be a hair too small, but it should be a little bit smaller than the Red Hood head, as it's a helmet that goes around his head. Overall, I'm very pleased, and this is definitely what I'm going to do with my extra Red Hood. Here's Red Hood, or Jason Todd, in his base, his lair, his hideout. You can see his armory in the background, got his helmet on the table, ready for action at any given time. And after the bat signal's lit, he knows it's time to act. Here he is, rushing through the streets of Gotham City on his motorcycle, driving all the way through the city to meet up with Batman and the other allies. Then he meets up with Batman and the rest of the former Robins, and they get ready for another night's activities. Now let's check him out, compared with some other action figures, starting off with some other Red Hood figures. Here he is, next to all the different DC Direct and DC Collectibles Red Hood figures. This DC Essentials was my favorite, at least until now. Here he is, next to the Mattel Red Hood figures. And here he is, next to an older custom Red Hood figure I made. I made this figure years before any official releases. And here's my entire Red Hood collection. And while not in his Red Hood outfit, here's a couple of other DC Direct Jason Todd figures. On the left, we've got Jason Todd as Hush. On the right, we've got Jason Todd as Batman. And technically, this guy's also Jason Todd. In the video game Arkham Knight, the Arkham Knight turned out to be Jason Todd. They did incorporate the Arkham Knight into the comic continuity, recent history, and I don't believe that guy was Jason Todd. And until I find a better body, this is my Jason Todd in civilian attire. Sure, he's too small to go with this McFarlane Red Hood. And back in Mattel's DC Universe Classics, in Series 10, they made a classic Dick Grayson as Robin, and there was a head variant. In my collection, I always used the one on the left with the curls as Dick Grayson, and the one on the right as Jason Todd. In the original continuity, Jason Todd and Dick Grayson wore the same Robin costume. And while we're on the subject of Red Hood, here he is next to a couple of Joker in the Red Hood attire. And here he is with the Red Hood gang. He's going to have some fun taking these guys out. And now let's check him out next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is with some other members of the Bat family, Rebirth style. They're in their normal looks. We've got Azrael, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batman. And Damian Wayne Robin is dropping right now. Here they are with the entire McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. If you include all the variants, I've got a total of 48 figures, and I'm not even fully caught up. I still don't have the gold Deathstroke and gold Arkham Knight Batman. And there is so much stuff they've shown upcoming. And here's a slightly more aerial view of the entire collection. And finally, here's the Red Hood riding this crazy bat cycle. And here are my go-to figures for all the former Robins and their current identities. We've got the McFarlane DC Multiverse Nightwing, McFarlane DC Multiverse Red Hood, Mattel Multiverse Red Robin, and the Mattel DC Universe Classics Signature Collection Damian Wayne as Robin, who I expect to get replaced by the McFarlane Damian very soon. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here he is with some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, here he is next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, here he is next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this Red Hood figure is amazing. Ever since the comic story Under the Red Hood, I've wanted a figure like this. And then the animated movie came along, and I wanted it even more. And yes, we've got a few nice releases over the years. The Mattel Multiverse one was okay. The DC Direct DC Essential version was pretty good. But this one tops all of those. This is by far the best classic biker Red Hood out there. He's super articulated, 7-inch scale, removable pistols. His helmet looks fantastic. The type of paint they use looks great. The collar popped, the armor, the sculpting details. This guy is fantastic. If I were to rate this guy, I'd give him a 9 out of 10. This is one of McFarlane's best offerings. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.